Hello, I'm Steve Porter, and we're here to talk about the 3 best perks about being a Disney cast member. I'm here with Ryno Clavin.
Hello.
And to my left is Craig Williams.
Hello.
And so, does anyone want to start off, or should I?
I do.
Okay.
No, but I'm going to say we're each going to give one. So a total of 3.
So
we're not
it is
giving
a
3.
total of 3.
Yeah.
That is correct. So
I also don't need to
I guess
go
I'll
first.
start.
You go ahead. You go ahead, Pam.
The best thing for me, my favorite memory of being a cast member, I loved being a cast member, but it was the friends that I made. Not to sound too sappy, but it is. No, it's true. You meet like people from all over the world. I met my future wife there. So
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Congratulations. She's wonderful.
I met people from Hong Kong and Brazil and all over the world and all over the country. And a lot of those people I still keep in touch with and really close with. So that is definitely...
I will agree with you, actually, Steve. That was the number one. When I started working, I ended up at Lights Motors Action, and it was not a place I wanted to work. It was, it was a lot of older people, and it was in the people that are least like me, coming from the small town where I was from. So I was like, oh my God, how did I end up in all of Disney World in this one attraction? And turns out a couple weeks later, the college program started, and I made some amazing friends there. And I was originally going to go home and move to like San Francisco at one point, and it stopped me because I went home for Christmas that year, and I got a phone call from everybody like on Christmas, and they were like, "Oh, we miss you," and I was like, "God, I made these friends I didn't even realize like I had become so close to." And it was great because it's like what you said. They're from all areas, all walks of life, all around the world, different ages, different backgrounds. And it really, it opens your mind. It expands your soul a little bit. Not to sound super cheesy, but, you know.
It definitely does. And being a cast member can be monotonous sometimes and like hard when, the managers are in a bad mood or guests are rude or whatever. But you can kind of like create this small little family, not to sound too cheesy, but like you kind of keep each other sane.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree.
Yeah.
So,
I've met some lifelong friends from working there.
Yeah. So that is my number one perk. Ryno, what was yours?
The discount. Which was great, especially after you worked there for 3 years. But
or after around Christmas time.
Yeah, around Christmas time.
40% off.
Oh yeah, and then one year when they were like desperate for money, they were 50, and I was like, oh, everybody's getting mugs for Christmas. They did, but I actually thinking back on it, and it's when I was younger. This is where we came to vacation every year. We would come to Disney World like once a year because my great grandmother lived down here, and that is like Disney has a place in my family. And for me, like thinking back on it now, it's nice to say like we were a part of the Disney family. We were a part of the Disney legacy. Yes, I hated working there by the end of it. You know what I mean? It's got like any jobs that you go to. It's got management issues. It's hot as whatever here in Florida. Words I won't say. And it's just like, and people, you will see the worst people in humanity come through that park in front of you. You know what I mean? And you'll just see people treat each other terribly, but you're also going to see moments, happy moments, like the magical moments and stuff like that. And things that you won't forget. But also you can look back on it and say like, you gave it your all. Maybe you can, but like, I feel like I could. Like I felt like I was a part of this thing that's very special to everybody that means so much to them, And, I'm happy I did it. I would never regret working there. Maybe for as long as I did or not trying more variety of stuff, but that's on me, That's not on here, but I don't know. That it's special to me.
Yeah, I think, having the memory and having, I think I'm proud to be that I was a cast member. Yeah. Because, you do
the discount.
Yeah, because of the discount. Exactly. No, but because you do make people's vacations, without the cast member service, slowly Disney World would just become, your average theme park over time.
Well, I'd like to believe it's people like us. I'll assume you were a good cast member like me.
That was okay.
I don't know. You're all right. But I never let a bad mood. I never let the person before me ruin the experience for the person after me, and maybe that just became very draining on me after a while.
And I actually would just to go off of that a little bit. When I had a really bad experience with a guest, is then when I would try to do a magical moment for someone because I was like, I need to like cheer myself up and get like that rude person or that angry person's like stuff behind me and move on and make someone else happy so that I can get out of this funk.
Okay, we've said magical moment like 5 times now. I feel like I have to share a magical moment that I have that I still think about, is so when I started, there was this, I think it was like the 2nd or 5th year into a year of a million dreams. I don't know. They did that for forever, but it had been going on for a while. And part of the thing they did are these it was these Tinkerbell pins, and they were connected, like they were on 2 pieces of cardboard that were perforated in the middle. And what you were supposed to do is if you saw a cast member who was creating magic or not cast member, a guest who was creating magic for other people, or doing something great, you were supposed to give it to them. They were supposed to keep one for themselves, rip it off, and pass it on, and eventually, like any things that sound like kind of too good to be true, it went away. But, we had a couple of pins in the break room, and I remember there was this one girl once, and I was like, oh my God, this is the perfect girl. She was with her family. They were in the wheelchair section. She was in a wheelchair. I think she had like injured one of her legs, maybe, if I remember correctly. But so I'm like, oh my God, her family was so wonderful. We had great interaction, and she was very polite to somebody. So I was like, oh my God, this is exactly what that pin's for. This is early on me working there too. And so I was like, somebody asked somebody to come take my position. I ran around looking for these pins. I was like, God, I couldn't find them anywhere. And then there was one like in the bottom of my locker. Like it had fallen out of my bag or something. And so I got it. I ran back and finally, like out of breath, wheezing. And I give this girl this pin and they like start crying. And I'm like, good Lord, it's just a pin. Get over it. And it turns out that their house had burned down and that this girl in the wheelchair was a huge pin collector. Like she had this huge collection of pins that the parents were telling me, and they were no more. And so essentially this vacation happened like right after that experience. And so the little girl, she hugged me, and the family was like, oh my God, you don't understand, this, whatever. And I'm like, all right, keep it together. Don't start crying in front of people.
Oh, wow.
Whatever. But I always remember that, that it was a very, like, you don't know what people are going through, both the people in a great mood and the people in a bad mood. And so like, it feels important to me that I was a part of that moment for that little girl,
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. So anyways,
Yeah,
sorry,
good luck
I turned that
following
into.
Oh, well, mine actually completely follows it in that
He burned that house down.
My favorite part of being a cast member, the biggest perk to me, wasn't when there was people around. It was the moments when no one was around. And that's getting to be behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And see, you kept mentioning magic a lot, the behind the scenes magic.
Yeah.
Obviously my tenure at Disney was very short, just a couple months at Test Track. But even in that period, it was some of the best moments I can ever think about that I've ever had in any Disney parks. The going through training and being told like, okay, well, to get the ride up and running, you have to walk the entire track and turn it on one step at a time. And so being out, like, I mean, obviously the core of the ride is still the same today. So to be able to go around and say like, oh yeah, on the big twist, I walked all that part of the track.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
Then that was just a normal part of the day. Or after all the guests are clear through the queue, then being the person to volunteer to get to jump in the ride and do the final ride through of the night. And just to make sure nothing's really out of the place. No guests found a way to sneak out. Just getting to do that, like saying like, I am literally the last person who was on before they hit the shutdown on the ride for the night. And, even sometimes there might be some people around, but like one of our positions at Test Track was you had to go close off a rope to get there. But part of that perk was you get to watch illuminations. So that's another one that my hand was raised for every night that I could, saying like, oh, the final part of your job will be going to illuminations and watching that, or being stuck with lost and found duty, which sounds something terrible. You have to walk a whole bunch of crap you find throughout the day to the front of the park to hopefully reunite it with the people who own it. But you don't realize that in the time that it takes to do that, and then you come back, you're walking through a complete empty park. And you just hear the background music on, but you don't hear people. And it's moments like that there are opportunities to there's opportunities to see kind of stuff very similar like that with tours, behind the scenes tours that happen early in the morning.
But it's not the same. Like
it's not the same.
when you're a cast member and you go up through the utilidors and you
Yep.
come out in the middle of Magic Kingdom and you're just like, yeah, it smells down there. But at the same time, you're like, the second you walk out into the sun, you see and can learn to appreciate little details like the hidden doors that are everywhere for people to sneak through. You know.
Yeah, I mean, when I was a cast member in the Magic Kingdom, just going down, being able to go down in the utilidors, and like, if you're on a tour, they show you where they want you to see, kind of thing. Where I would go down and I would have like a training or something, or they do like the hearing test down there for some reason. And if I didn't know how to get there, I'm like literally just exploring the utilidors by myself and getting to experience something that I'll probably never get to experience.
The overwhelming
again.
fear of getting lost and never being found down there.
But
that's what I always had.
Yeah, no, but it was awesome. And just to go off of what you said of being in the parks by yourself, being in Tomorrowland by yourself is awesome because the neon lights are all on, and like, so walking around there when you're doing, closing up rides is awesome.
Yeah.
And then actually 3 times during my program, we got to do Space Mountain with the lights on as cast members. So that was another really cool experience.
Yeah, I did Rock and Roller Coaster with the lights on, and it was the scariest thing because they stopped us in one of I believe it was the last breaking point, and just, did a ride stop on that. But because the way it's set up, they can still launch coasters in, and they'll stop at the second break location.
So you could see another car
we
coming
had
at you.
we had the view,
Oh
and
my
they did it
goodness.
for everyone, so we could sit there on the ride.
Oh, wow.
And watch the coaster launch through and actually see it.
That's really cool.
And it's like a moment like that. That's what you get. You get that behind the scenes magic as a cast member. They do experiences like that for you. The big one is, depending on when it's available, and if your group's lucky enough, you get the lights on tour of the Haunted Mansion and get to go around.
Yeah,
and
I was
actually
supposed to
stand
do
up.
one of those once and slept in.
I was supposed to do it it was literally my second week of being a cast member on the college program. They chose our group to be able to go and do that, and with my team of 20 people that was in my group, and made the stupid mistake of going to City Walk the night before. Was out till 2 a.m. and woke up, and I was like, they are on it right now. And then having to see the pictures of everyone getting up close, getting to even touch animatronics.
We got to I was friends with some of the drivers at Lights Motors Action. So I don't know how well you remember the stage, but it's stable kind of shaped, and there's a little cafe, and they let me sit and watch the show entirely from the cafe. So I'm watching it, and the car backs up right against that wall, or hits the wall sometimes. So I got to watch it there, and then I got to sit in the car, not while it's like doing the stunts, obviously, but like stuff like that, I thought it was cool, a little lost on somebody like me, but but it was still really cool to like be a part of that. And Craig, you guys were talking about like when nobody's there. I left my wallet in my locker once at work, and this was when I first started. I remember it being like late, and I was like, "Am I not supposed to be in here?" And I walked through, and like they were spraying the sidewalks, and they were like cleaning everything, and I was like, "Man, it's so quiet and calm." And you know what I mean? It's like a weird experience that you'll never get unless you work there.
Yeah, and that was like, I had more experience with that at Universal, and so when I was a lead there, I would be the first person in for the morning to walk through Dragon Challenge and go all around that. Like, there were techs around, but they were usually back in their shop working on all the dragons and stuff. So you would literally just be going all around and not just be alone. And it's dark and it's quiet, but I don't. There's just something you can't.
It's like a night at the
can't get
museum
that anywhere. Yeah,
feeling. I don't want to say that, but it gives you the vibe that things are going to spring to life, and you're kind of seeing them sleeping.
It almost feels like you're getting away with something.
Yeah,
Like,
that's a good point.
Yeah,
No,
you're not
absolutely.
supposed to be doing this.
I'm just
but
waiting for somebody to be like, "Hey, get out of here!
Get out of here!" Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's a great one. So I think that'll do it for our the 3 best perks of being a Disney cast member. Thanks for watching. Like the video if you liked it. Thanks so much.